Good sounds, good sounds, good sounds. Elia, how are you, mate? Welcome to Utter FM for another week of football in this beautiful Acropolis, whatever you call it. That is the Wairarapa. How are you, mate?
Masterton voted New Zealand's most beautiful city, earlier this year.
When did they come and have a look at that place, mate?
Hey, mate, they're talking about all sorts of stuff here. Queen Elizabeth Park.
Yeah.
Like apparently the council's, they're into beautify, create something new and exciting in the Wairarapa.
Have you been to the cliffs?
I have been to the cliffs, actually. I went there on a tour. There's a guy who runs a tour down out of Martinborough. Goodness, I can't remember his name offhand. He runs a bike business down there, but he does a really good tour, and he takes you up the cliffs there for a walk, and yeah, it's lovely.
I went camping down there in February, and I was going to go for a weekend, ended up staying down there for 9 days. I didn't want to go home, but I wouldn't say it camping. I'd say it was glamping. I had the big new tent and all sorts of carry on, and I absolutely loved it, mate. It was, let's just say I was living the life, mate, and as I said, I didn't want to go home. But did you get into the camping at all, mate?
Oh, yeah, no, we bought a good tent. We went up around East Cape, up around all Portakey and around, we stayed at a place. Oh, we stayed at Tokomaru Bay, which was, I met a guy there. I met, his name was Bay, actually, and he's in Bay Riddell. Was it Riddell? Yeah, he's a clay carver, which is a new art form that started in the early 1980s in New Zealand, because Māori never had a tradition of firing clay.
Oh, okay.
But around the early 80s, a few people got together, a few like minds, and they started, firing clay, making clay pots and vases and sculptures, and started firing it with Māori designs. And a lot of people around the world had never seen anything like it. So they've got a niche they've created. I actually pitched it as an article to my bosses when I was still working for Stuff. I finished up there on Friday. They sent me down the road, they weren't interested, unfortunately. But I was thinking about, I've got all the info, so I might try and pitch it to the listener or someone like that.
I think it's a great call, mate, and I think a lot of people will be interested in reading more about it.
Yeah, I think so.
It's interesting you say that that the Māori never got into the clay kilning as such. Is that
the kilns. Yeah. Well, there were the Lapita potters, and there's a sort of a theory that's a little bit, it doesn't have a lot of strength to it, that Māori were descended from the Lapita potters, who are a group in the Pacific who I think I'm pretty sure they were the Pacific, and they had a tradition of firing clay, and but it didn't carry through to Māori, and so that's why some people think that the link is how do you lose a piece of knowledge like that? And you don't, and considering all the stuff Māori did have, like greenstone carving, wood carving, all those arts. Why would they forget how to fire kilns?
Exactly. It's interesting you say that, mate, because my brother, he used to go to Italy every year and do marble carving.
Oh, okay.
And loved it. And he went one year with a bag of power shells.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have that sort of stuff over there.
Oh, yeah, they would have loved it.
Mate, they couldn't believe it. They thought it was like gold, and I think he ended up, one of the ladies that was also doing the course, he learnt to speak Italian while he was over there as well.
Yeah.
And he kept going, mate. I think he went a number of years, consistently each year. And I think he took back quite a lot of the product, and she made jewellery out of it. So,
cool.
Small world, mate.
I read, so he carves marble.
He does a lot of carving. I've just moved out of his, because I was living with him in Clearville, and I've just moved into town to my own place. But he's got a beautiful home out in Clearville, and he has what used to be, it's a big red brick building, and it doesn't look that big from the outside, but when you go inside, it's like the TARDIS. When you go inside, it sort of opens up, but it's actually built into the ground. And I think it's about 6 foot into the ground as well.
That's awesome.
It's deep, and it's actually an historic building as well, and it's 130 years old. It used to be the old cheese factory. This is over 100 years ago.
Okay, so they had it subterranean to sort of look after the cheese.
Yep. And also what they have there in the rafters, they have a lot of people's names sort of carved into the rafters, a lot of the people that went to the war. Went to the war and died.
So I'll have to introduce my brother to your brother, man, because my brother's a greenstone carver.
No way.
Yeah, he's
Very
right.
cool.
He's been doing it for, how long has he been doing it now?
Fantastic,
Maybe 15 years.
Is he down in Carterton?
He lives in Hastings.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, so good football talk anyway to start off.
Yeah.
Hey, now I've got to ask you, and I can point the finger because I'm not playing these days. I'm too fat, as you know. I have shaved the beard off, mate.
You look slimmer, man. You look younger.
I've got to do a few more things to look slimmer, mate. I'll tell you what. But it was it's a long story which I'll tell you about off here, mate, and what caused that to come to be. But over the weekend.
All right.
But how did you guys go? You've had 2 games in this weekend.
Yeah, well, we unfortunately lost on Saturday to Greytown. Capital Football didn't give us a ref, which is something we always have a bit of a gripe about afterwards because, you need a ref and everyone's paying subs. Our club pays quite a bit of money to Cap Football and they can't give us a ref. It's like the game's already ruined from the start. I mean, not ruined, but it doesn't help the game, especially they supplied a ref, Greytown. And, they're always going to be slightly one-eyed.
You don't do a half each, or?
No, we had the option, but we didn't have anyone who was going to ref. So we ended up losing 3-2, but we did. Our striker unfortunately missed a penalty. He hit the bar and it went over.
Wasn't you, mate? Wasn't you?
Well, I offered to take the penalty because I don't miss penalties. But
that's a big call, mate. It's a huge call.
I think in a game I've missed one ever, and I've taken a lot. A lot. I was our penalty taker when I was at high school, mate. When I was only 13 years old, and I used to just run them in right next to the post, and because we were little kids, no one could ever get to them. And then if you hit them right and you send the keeper the wrong way, you do that body shape thing. A lot of the time you can get the keepers. I mean, you're a keeper. You're going to think you can save my penalties, aren't you?
I'm going to save you. We're going to go to the park on Saturday and have another kick around and do a few penalties, mate. But just on that, I remember John Aldridge. We played against. What was it? He was at Tranmere for the All Whites.
I remember Tranmere. Yeah,
John Aldridge, he went to Liverpool.
Yeah, no, he was...
A little story for you,
Didn't
mate.
he have a goal record there or something?
He had a great goal record, but he was at Tranmere when we went there.
Yeah.
And Winton
I remember that was early 90s or something.
Yeah, 1991. I think I was 20 at the time.
Yeah,
my first All White trip. We were away for 5 weeks. It was great. And we had Kevin Fallon. That was, in those days, for 20-year-old Kevin Fallon was extremely scary.
Yeah.
He's mellowed a bit these days, but... yeah, he was old school, wasn't he? And we played at Tranmere, and I remember, I think it was Robbie Ironside said, he's going to kick lumps out of this John Aldridge. I didn't play. I was on the bench, and Clint Gosling was in goal, and I was 20 going on 10 in those days, and you're playing against professionals, and that's when, Tranmere were good, and they spanked us 7-0.
Yeah, I think they were championship then,
Yeah, and and John Aldridge scored 5 goals.
Oh, they were Div 1 because that was just before the Premier League started.
Yeah. And but it was
he scored what?
He scored 5.
5. And how good was he?
Very good. And it's like after the game, I'm in the changing room looking at Robbie Ironside going, "Oh mate, you showed him." He was actually taking the mickey a bit out of us. But they brought on youth players and that sort of stuff, and it's embarrassing the way they just took them.
What? And did he score a penalty as well?
He scored 1 penalty, and I remember that he went to Liverpool after that, and when Liverpool were very good. And he missed the first penalty in an FA Cup final when Dave Besant, the Wimbledon goalkeeper, and the crazy game 1-0. Remember that game?
Yeah, I do remember that.
And then at the other end, my mate Bruce Grobbelaar, who was on the show last week, he was in goal, and I think it was Laurie Sanchez who scored the winner for Wimbledon.
Yeah, pretty sure it was Sanchez.
And they had Dennis Wise and
they had a good
John
team.
Fashion.
They had a good team. Yeah.
Vinnie Jones.
People call them the crazy gang and think they were like a bunch of like nutters, but they were actually they were good quality side, weren't they?
But I mean, if you, Bobby Gould.
Well, they had Vinnie Jones as well.
Yeah, he's scary. I mean, I've talked to a few people about Vinnie Jones, and we're probably going to get him on the show in the near future.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I've put out my feelers, and I've spoken to John Fashion, who's also going to come on the show.
Yeah.
Who's now residing in Nigeria.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And about 6 months ago, he was involved in a home invasion where they had him and his wife and friends and family, sort of guns to their head and on the floor. So Nigeria's not the prettiest of places, and I would have thought someone like John Fashion who would have been quite well respected.
Nigeria's an interesting. I had a good friend in Melbourne worked with from Nigeria, Kenny Banjoko, and. Yeah, he loves Nigeria, but he loves Australia as well. And But he told me, there's just too much corruption in Nigeria, and there's big money coming in from these corporations, and they just buy the officials.
Yep.
And the country has got, I think it's one of the most resource-rich countries in the world.
And it's a huge country, isn't it?
It's a shame. It's terrible. It's one of those hangovers from the the colonial powers just taking off in the 50s and 60s and leaving the countries unprepared. But you can't blame that forever, can you?
Well, I tell you what, mate. I mean, they've produced some fantastic players in the past, haven't they?
Or Nigeria, one of those teams you always thought were going to come right at the World Cup and give everyone a real scare.
Well, I'll tell you what I respect about them, mate, is... sorry, go on, you were talking.
Yeah, no, carry on.
When I was at Supersport United in South Africa, we used to go for trips around Africa and play inter-Africa games and Cup Winners' Cups against overseas players and teams. And we played against a Nigerian team Nigerian team in Lagos. And before we went on the field, there was 80,000 people there, and they were all dressed in white. That was the home team's colours. Yeah. And when we came on to the pitch, to go in for the game, to line up, they were all wearing these one-piece suits, shorts and basically really tight singlets, not singlets but tops. And the Cameroonians wore that a couple of years afterwards, and they got FIFA banned it.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, you wouldn't be able to get a fatty like me in one of those suits. I mean, I'd be looking like Jimmy Five Bellies. But all these Nigerian footballers, mate, it was just, mate, they were huge. They were all well over 6 foot and built like my French brick shit houses, and they were tough, and you've got to be tough to get to the top in a country like that, because it's very it's very difficult. I think there might be a couple of 100 million people in Nigeria. I think it's
something like that. It's a huge big population. Yeah.
But they love the game. As you said, there's a lot of corruption in the country. But it's interesting. I mean, as you said, I mean, they're a team that's promised so much, so many times in the World Cup. They do well in the Youth World Cups, and I think a lot of that's got to do with possibly playing a few overage players.
Yeah, maybe. I remember them in USA '94. Yep. And they were good, eh? And they had... they were such good teams.
Was that old man Beck and all those guys, wasn't it?
Yeah, they had that guy. They had an old guy up front, and he ran in when he scored. He ran into the net and he grabbed the net and he was shaking it, and it with his two hands. Yeah.
And they had the guy. Who was the guy that played?
They had
went to Real Madrid. Tall guy, Eddie Bayo. Yeah, Eddie Bayo.
No, not Eddie Bayo. He didn't go to Madrid. Did he? Go? No.
He was at Madrid. Yeah, he was at Real Madrid.
No, he's Ivory Coast.
He's Ivory Coast. That's right. Yeah.
No, but they had Kanu was Nigerian.
Kanu, that's right.
He's awesome.
Yeah,
that guy was amazing. Player. He was at Bolton and Arsenal.
Yep. Great.
And there was the other guy who was at Bolton, an amazing dribbler of the ball. Like, oh man, I can't believe I can't remember his name. That's going to annoy me until I can.
You'll get it halfway.
I can Google it later. Yeah.
Well, we actually have there were a lot of players from Nigeria playing in the South African National League, because the South African National League is probably the highest, the best league in Africa. It used to be very corrupt, as you can imagine, in South Africa.
I remember the Kaiser Chiefs from on a computer game I had when I was a kid.
I nearly signed for them.
Oh yeah.
I nearly signed for them, but I signed another 3-year contract for Supersport. For the simple reason that I thought if I went to Kaiser Chiefs as a goalkeeper with a fair skin complexion, and I would have been the only white person at the club. And I'm not racist. I don't give a toss whether you're black, white, yellow, whatever, but I just thought there's a lot of things that happen off the field in clubs like that, because they're not run as professionally as they could. Whereas Supersport United is a big identity. They're run by Mnet, which is Sky TV. Very professional. And I thought I'd always be looked after, but I thought if I threw a couple in it at Kaiser Chiefs, I might be in a bit of a predicament.
Well, I mean, it's not like that thing happens all around the world with certain leagues, doesn't it? I mean, you look at Portugal this year. Sporting Lisbon had that bust up where the players and the coaches got attacked by a mob of people, and they think it was their own supporters.
Yeah, their own supporters. That's
busted in. And attacked them in training. This is only a couple of months
training, back. This is less than a month ago.
And that's why they all want to leave now. All the players, they're out. They want to go. Well, why wouldn't you?
I'm just going to training and hey,
going to get attacked by a mob.
It's interesting to say the least, mate. But I mean, I think that's the difference, and that sort of sums it up. When I talk to people in New Zealand who are rugby enthusiasts, and they talk about about the game in New Zealand, how soccer overseas, or football as we like to call it, it's Kiwi rugby buffheads say it's on a par with our rugby, but it's not.
Yeah, no.
Football is so much bigger, much bigger.
There's not really a comparison.
Yeah. Now listen, mate. We're going to talk about the World Cup, and we're going to go through with the groups, and then we're going to talk a bit about Lampard, who's gone over to a new club now, and just a few other things. We're going to talk about players that we're going to stand out in the World Cup. But I'm going to play a song in a minute, but before I do, I want to talk about Zinedine Zidane and what's happened to him this week. Can you shed some light on that, please?
Yeah, well, I've read a few things about it, and he stood down. He's in a strong position. There's rumours. You were saying you'd heard Perez might have had something to do with not letting him, do the things he wants with the team and so on. And then there was some rumour that maybe Ronaldo had sort of pushed him out, and but I think Zidane, he's a guy who's won it all as a player, and he's also a guy. He scored 2. Remember those headers in the World Cup final we got?
Yeah,
mate.
Unreal.
He's won it all.
Yeah.
So what does he really have to prove? That's the thing with a guy like him. He's just won 3 Champions Leagues in a row. No one's ever done it. So he's like, maybe he's just thinking, I want this team. I like this team. I don't want to see them, start to have a downturn or something. So I'm going to step away and let someone else take over, see if they can carry things on. And he's going to have options. He could. I think all the top jobs are taken at the moment, but that never lasts long, does it?
Yeah. Well, mate, just my 2 bob worth. I tell you what, he's walking away the most professionally I've ever seen someone walk away from a big job, because he's walking away. And everyone's going, what are you doing letting this guy go? Yeah, okay, they came 14 points behind Barcelona. As you've just commented, they've won the European Cup 3 times in a row. No one's ever done that. He was the best player. I think he's the best player that's ever played the game myself. I think he's fantastic.
I think the only people who can be are centre midfielders, but I'm biased because I always played there. But
yeah, I think Peter Schmeichel was the best player that's ever played, and then Van Breukelen from Holland was the second best player that's ever played.
How many goals could they score, though?
Yeah.
A few, maybe.
Oh, yeah. But but that game he played against Brazil, and he just took the mickey, mate, and he'd be just flicking the ball over, players' heads, but he's doing it against Brazil.
Yeah.
And he just made it look, it's like he had the ball on a string.
There's a video on YouTube you can watch of his game. I think it might have even been against Brazil, but it wasn't in that World Cup. It was in a later one.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's amazing.
I've seen it. Yeah. He just took the mickey.
Yeah.
And it was in France.
Little passes and everything.
That's right. It was in Paris, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the game.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, look it up if you're listening and you want to see, a masterclass.
Yeah.
Zidane in that match. Yeah.
Just to let people know, we've got the phones on again tonight. So it's 06378 06378 0255. If they want to ring in and give us some expert advice around what they see as being the dominant teams in the World Cup, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. Where was Zinedine Zidane go, mate? What's his next port of call, do you think?
Well, yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I was sort of thinking maybe. I forgot that PSG had got, Thomas Tuchel. I think that's how you say his name, Tuchel, or Tuchel. And that Zidane might go there, but then, of course, I've realised otherwise. But, there's a few teams out there, but he said he hasn't got another job in mind, but he doesn't want to give up coaching. They were his words. So, you'd think of big clubs out there that need managers, and I think all the big jobs are taken, the really big jobs. But maybe he wants to go to France and help a team out or something, because he's that type of guy, isn't he? He might do that. You like to think of Zidane as being a bit of a purist, and he's made enough money, hasn't he? So he could go help some team out.
I reckon, mate. I think he's left because he had a disagreement with the manager, with the president.
Oh,
and
Perez
wants to play it his way.
Yeah.
Zinedine Zidane has left, and I saw an interview with him yesterday where he stipulated that he loves Perez. He loves the club. He's been there. Perez signed him. Obviously, he signs everyone.
Yeah.
So he was there as a player. He's now become a coach. manager. He's got his favourites, and I think in Navas, the goalkeeper here, Zinedine. I always thought that he would have got rid of him, but I know they were looking at David De Gea at Man United, and they still are. But I also believe Benzema, who I believe has been at Real Madrid more years than any other foreigner.
A long time then,
he's been there for about 9 or 10 years. But he's done well, hasn't he? He's always scored goals.
Yeah, he had a bad patch where Mourinho was benching him for a while, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't know. I always thought Mourinho was benching him to piss him off. Because then he came back and he just went on a scoring blitz.
Yeah,
and it was like Mourinho does that to players. He's one of those guys, and he's did it at United as well. He said to guys, "Oh, he's not right, and then he'll give them a chance, and if they deliver, they're back in the team."
Yeah. But, he plays mind games, and but
players need it.
Yeah. I mean, but I believe players are all different. You got to treat players accordingly, and some of them can deal with that, some can't. So you've got to know your players. I think Mourinho at times he'll get upset with players, and he'll just get rid of them. Which is a shame, like Ferguson used to do with Jaap Stam and Van Nistelrooy, those sort of players. He could have got a lot more out of them, but he didn't. He just got rid of them, and Beckham was another one. He's had a fallout now with
Well, they crossed him, though, didn't they?
You don't cross
he's the boss.
And that's it. But I mean, mate, if I could get my way, I'd get Zinedine Zidane at Man United. I'd be over the moon if he came out next week and signed for them.
Oh, I think Mourinho is... a lot of people complain about the way United have been playing, but I don't know. Mourinho gets a lot of stick for being this guy who parks the bus. But if you look back over the years, the statistics say otherwise. He did get that reputation in Spain because he was competing against that Barcelona side. How did you compete with them? And I think he's building something at United. And this season he'll get to bring in another 3 or 4, 5 more players maybe. And then you'll start seeing an actual Mourinho side there because we haven't seen one yet at United.
I agree.
He's only signed what? I mean, he hasn't signed that many players there, or he hasn't got a squad that he wants with the right components. And I think you don't get to where he is, because you're a mug. And he's not a mug. And anyone who says he is in my books, they need to have a look at themselves.
Yeah. I mean, he's won everywhere, hasn't he? He's won in Portugal, he's won in Italy, he's won everywhere, mate.
He's done it. Italy, Spain, England, Portugal. And he won the Champions League in Spain with the Spanish team and with the Portuguese. Oh, no, he won Champions League with Inter Milan. He never won it with Madrid, did he?
No, he won it with Inter Milan.
He won it with Milan and was it Porto?
Porto. It was Porto. Yep. They're blue and white, aren't they? Blue and white stripes, Porto?
Yeah.
That's right. Yep. Now, mate, we're going to talk some World Cup.
Yeah.
But before we get there, we're going to play this old school song from a World Cup many, many years ago.
All right.
Well, some of the crowd are on the pitch. Some of the crowd are on the pitch. They think it's all over, but it is now.
Express yourself, create the space. You know you can win.
G'day, mate. G'day, mate. What a good song. Do you remember that? England, playing for England, John Barnes and the boys. I think
That was a 1991, eh?
Was it 1990? I think it was, yeah. It was
Yeah,
too.
no,
In Italy, was
I remember it was on TV here and stuff.
Was it in Italy?
Yeah,
or-
Italia 90, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Scalacci.
Scalacci.
Yeah.
Because he was playing for Torino and then he went to Juventus, didn't he?
Yeah, he was an older guy and he was a bit of a left field selection, I think.
He was a baldy, wasn't he?
he
And
just-
he played up front with Vialli, is that right?
Yeah, pretty sure, yeah.
And I remember he got suspended in Italian football because he said to one guy, an opponent in one match, said he's going to have him shot. And the guy was kicking lumps out of him and said, if you do that again, I'm going to have you shot, mate. So,
Oh, Italian football. Yeah, crazy.
mate, World Cup, 2 weeks away. Not even 2 weeks until the first game. What are you thinking? I've got to. Well, tell me what you're thinking just off the cuff. Anyway, is it going to be a huge tournament this year in the Ukraine?
I think it's good that it's a World Cup. You're looking at it, and I mean, there's never any like a really, really clear favourite at the World Cup. But this time, there's a few teams, and you can think, well, they've got a look in. If they can get it together. Look at Belgium with Martinez managing now, and they've got all the players, and he loves to play attacking football, and if he could get that team playing properly, they could go all the way. You think, and then then you look at Argentina. You got Brazil have come. They got Tite coaching. He's got that team playing again. Germany have had 5 losses in a row, I think, which is weird. I think that's in competition and friendlies. They lost to Austria on the weekend 2-1, and that's always a grudge match, the Germans and the Austrians.
There's no love lost there, is there, mate?
No. Yeah, so that's a big loss for Germany, and not a good one going into the World Cup. But I mean, they're the type of side that are they go to the next level when they hit the tournament, don't they? I mean, you'd expect them to anyway. But
well, let's have a look at the groups. There's 8 groups. Group A has the hosts, Russia.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Uruguay. What do you think is going to happen there?
So it's who is it? Saudi Arabia, Egypt,
Russia, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and the Uruguay. And 2 qualify, don't they?
Yeah. So Russia are a handy side. They're not like anything amazing. Uruguay, you'd expect to win the group, I think, and then Saudi Arabia and who was the other one? Sorry?
Egypt. New Zealand.
Well,
sorry.
I mean, Egypt. Egypt are a bloody they're a good side, aren't they? I mean, sort of, but they're another side who are. You're thinking that Saudi Arabia are probably going to struggle to get a point.
Yeah.
And second place is going to be out of Russia, Egypt, and then Uruguay. Really, I mean, you look at their side. They've got Godin, who I'm pretty sure he's Uruguayan, eh?
Yep.
Yeah, and they've got. I mean, they've got up attacking options and their midfield. They've got Suarez.
Who's quality, isn't he?
Who's the guy at the PSG, the striker? Cavani.
Cavani, yep.
Yeah, and then they're
Good player.
Yeah, they've got a quality side. You'd think they'd have to win that.
Well, if you think about it, obviously we're playing the World Cup and it's going to be in the summer.
But the hosts, you can't rule. You can never rule out the hosts, can you?
No, well, not to win it, but I mean they could. Yeah,
no, but you never know. The ref might give them a little help, like in
I think there'd be
Japan,
no doubt
Korea.
the ref will give them a little bit of a help, mate. I would predict Uruguay to top that group and Russia to come second, and I think Russia is going to come above Egypt and Saudi Arabia.
Well, they'll be pumped, won't they? The Russians.
I think there's going to be a huge amount of expectation.
Yeah.
Pluton will be there in his corporate box, threatening players with death sentences if they don't. No, I'm just joking. But
they'll get nice rewards, I'm sure, if they win or score goals, won't they?
Oh yeah, I mean they still believe there's a lot of corruption with the way that the World Cup was delegated and given to Russia, don't they? And
the World Cup's never been above board, though, has it? For
never,
bloody
never
50, 100 years or whatever
Never
it is. Ever since, who took over Havelange? When he took over
That's
FIFA,
right. Yep.
that's when they reckon it all went a little bit.
But it was just, and
I read a book, what was it called? Like
everyone else was doing it, so I thought I'd do it too.
probably something like that. Yeah. Havelange was, notoriously corrupt, eh?
Yeah.
And he was in charge for a bloody few decades or something.
Oh, but it was like the Untouchables, and I've met some of the African, FIFA delegates, and they're just corrupt. But they go to the top. I mean, is it true? You might be able to shed some light on this if you know, but I've heard that FIFA can't even spend the interest that they make each year.
Oh, that's probably right.
They make
got a
so
pile
much
of
money.
money.
Yeah, they make so much money that they can't even spend the interest. I might be incorrect, but
well,
I mean,
you look at the thing that happened in Auckland the other week with that. They spent all that money on that thing and it wasn't sanctioned. Like they spent millions over budget. Building that new complex up there. That's classic FIFA.
Exactly.
No one will get in trouble.
No.
Nothing will happen. Some guy, maybe some guy stepped down or something, but he'll probably get some posting somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they do.
It's shocking.
Yeah, it's right through the entire. I mean, it's every continent in the world has at least 10 corrupt FIFA officials. And everyone's in trouble. We might get done for. We might get done for this, mate.
And we're going to be.
We're going to get.
Thanks, listeners. Yes, thanks, listeners. It was nice knowing you all, and Mike and Elia would like to say thank you for our time on the airwaves in Australia.
If we die mysteriously in the next few weeks, you know why.
Imagine that if they came to Masterton, Wairarapa to knock us off, mate.
I'm sure they're probably already here, mate.
They are.
They're hiding
out. Hey, Group B, a huge group. Portugal and Spain, Morocco and Iran. Four good teams.
It is 4 good teams, isn't it? Because Morocco and Iran, on their day, they're going to have a chance at knocking up. Portugal don't look convincing again. They never look convincing at tournaments, do they? And they've got all these players. And, who's the other one?
Spain.
So, Spain are Spain, aren't they?
Spain. They'd be in the top 3, I'd say, for my pick for the World Cup.
Well,
2 or 3 or 4.
You'd fancy them to get to the least of the semi-finals. Yeah.
Well, they've got David Gea playing in goal now. In the last couple of World Cups, they have had poor keepers.
Yeah.
When they've been there, and so they've got the best keeper in the world. They've got the ticky-tacky football that they play, and I just think they'll set the bar pretty high again.
Yeah, they've got a lot of players, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Costa. I love Costa. He's great. People don't like him, but. Yeah, he's awesome.
He's a beast. He's a beast.
He's so good at racking opposition players up.
He's an animal, isn't
he? And he just does enough to piss everyone else off.
Yeah, he does.
And then he just does his business.
Yeah, and
gets a goal.
Mate, he's a good player.
Yeah.
What happened with him at Chelsea? Did he piss Mourinho off or something?
Conte.
Was it Conte?
Him and Conte.
That's right.
They had a falling out, and then, but then Costa was one of the reasons he won the league, and then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they ever got on good terms again, and he was happy to go back to Atletico.
Atletico, is it? Yep, that's right. Yeah. That's right. So Spain, Portugal, obviously Ronaldo, they're going to be a threat, but I don't think they've got enough good players to support him.
They've got a few, but you'd
not to win it, surely though.
Well, they did win the Euro, and
Yeah, well, that's right.
And maybe they shouldn't have, but that's not how it works, is it?
No,
they won it, so
that's right.
They've got to be. You got to have them in the back of your mind, maybe. But you'd be. Ronaldo isn't who he was 5 years ago, is he? He's that's noticeable in the Champions League final. He wasn't quite. He's still good, but he wasn't.
It's a big call, mate. It's a big call. But he's not as good as he used to be. I thought you were going to say he's better.
I'm certainly not saying he's past it, but he's not. 2-3 years ago, that guy was unstoppable almost, And mate, I think now...
Big call, mate. I've got to draw the straw.
Well, what did he do in the CL final?
I thought he was average. That's why the World Cup could be his mark and his time to step back up again.
Maybe he was resting up for the World Cup. He just thought, I'll just take this easy. Bale's going to do it.
He won the European Cup. Now he's going to win the World Cup, and he's going to go back to United. What do you reckon? Would he go there?
I wouldn't. Honestly, it'd be nice if he he'd make a massive pay cut. You go back to United for the love of it, but he's going to want to cement his retirement fund, so he's going to go there and he's going to get £300,000 a week or more. And I'm like, no, I'd rather get some players who are coming up in the game at United, or keep people like Martial or people like that. Jesse Lingard.
Yep.
As much as Ronaldo is a guy that would do something for the team, definitely having him around, but is it really worth the outlay? Like the amount of wages they'd have to pay him?
I think United have to do something because they got nothing this year, didn't they? This season they got nothing. They won nothing.
Well, they made the Champions League, and they got nothing. You have to do that. That's what you have to do. You have to make the Champions League. But they've won nothing. Yeah, they won the Champions League, so Ronaldo will be playing if he goes there. But they, their trophy cabinet's empty this year, mate, and it's a big. This is a Man United team. Well, they need a new centre back, and apparently Mourinho's keen on. How do you say it? I can't even. What's his bloody name?
What club?
The guy at Spurs, the Belgian.
Oh, yeah, big boy, yep.
Alderweireld, or whatever it is. Toby, yeah. I can't even recall how you say it. But, Mourinho's after him.
What happened to Eric Abigail, or whatever, who played for United. Did he get injured? Because he's only a youngster. He's only like 21 or 22, and I thought he was a very good centre back during the season.
Oh no, I know who you mean. But he
the coloured lad.
Yeah, no, he got he had an injury, and then he got back to fitness, and then Smalling and Jones were playing well enough for him to not be considered, but I prefer him to Jones.
Yeah, I don't rate Jones either than Smalling, to be honest, mate. Just that's my, my
I think
thoughts.
Smalling's a pretty good centre back, but maybe he's not so good going forward. Like he doesn't seize the initiative enough sometimes.
Mate, he's sideways. English, mate. He's this English centre back. He goes
sideways. He will pass to the midfielder before instead of you get some centre backs who start just injecting themselves into the midfield, and it creates a bit of chaos. That's what I like. I like a centre back who does that.
I like the centre back who goes forward.
They start pushing in the midfield and playing like dangerous passes along the ground, not hoisting it or anything.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I find that most centre backs in the UK, they're okay going backwards or sideways, but they're not
Stones
good going
is
forward.
The difference, isn't he? He's a new one. He's the new sort of breed of centre back.
He's got a good touch.
And Guardiola's done a lot for him, hasn't he?
Yep, agreed.
Yeah.
Next up, we have group. So who do you think is going to win that group? Portugal or Spain? You've got to go for Spain, surely.
You'd have to say Spain, surely. I mean, really. I mean, they've just got so many players. They've got all these new players who have come through over the last couple of years. It's not like you think they're going to miss Iniesta, they're going to miss Xavi, but they're not. They've just got new players coming through.
It's just a joke, isn't it? Well, you look at the Italian, the goalkeeping stock there.
And centre backs, they've got everything, man. They missed Puyol retires. They got bloody two more guys to step it. They've got Piqué and Ramos.
Is Ramos going to the World Cup?
He'll be going, won't he?
Surely. Yeah, a few people giving him a few.
He'll be hoping for an Egypt-Spain second round clash or something.
Imagine that. Imagine that.
Salah comes in.
Salah going still? What do you reckon? He's going to make it?
He reckons he's fine, apparently. And I think Egypt will take him either way. It'll be like when Colombia took Falcao and they never should have. And they ruined his career almost. You remember when they took him to the World Cup and they should have let him have a rest?
And then they played him, Then
he signed for bloody... Did he sign for United or Chelsea? He signed for one of them, and then his knee was buggered, and he didn't come right again until he went back to Monaco, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Scoring goals again.
That's right. Yeah. So Spain's going to win that group. I tell you what, mate, if Egypt got through and they they played Spain, that'd be full on.
What group are Egypt in again?
They're in the first group, mate, with Russia, Saudi Arabia, and they could do that.
They should get through.
My thoughts are that, regardless of how good your team is, the conditions are going to play a big part in the World Cup. And if you're playing on a pitch, on a nice... it's going to be summer, and it's going to be bloody hot over there, I would have thought. So the Egyptians and that are going to be stroking the ball around quite nicely, the Saudi Arabians, the Uruguayans, and the Russians might not like... they're playing at home. But they'll all be okay. They will be comfortable on that. And there will be acclimatised because they would have been training since I'd say, they would have been in camp since the European Cup final, and a lot of these teams since before then, because their season's finished earlier. But
and the Russians they're a side that we may not know a lot of them, but they're probably I know that they've got a few handy players. Yeah, that's for sure. I watched the highlights of one of their games earlier this year, and they played pretty well.
Well, I think they sort of play with a similar style to the Germans. They're quite. They're very clinical.
Yeah, technically proficient and so on.
Technically very good.
Yeah, the Arshavin's not still playing, is he?
No.
He's
the Arsenal boy.
Yeah.
That's right. That was about 30 years ago, mate.
He's not that old, man.
Arshavin. He'd be about 70 now, wouldn't he? Good player.
Wouldn't he be just pushing 30 or something?
He used to score some great goals, didn't he, when he came up for Arsenal?
Well, I remember he got 4 against Liverpool.
That's right, 4. And he was running around with his hand going 4. I remember that.
They drew that, though, didn't they?
No, they must have won. Must have won that.
I'm pretty sure they drew 4-4.
Was it at Anfield?
I think it might have been at
Highbury.
At Highbury, maybe.
Yeah,
when they were still there. Yeah. Anyway. I'm pretty sure he scored 4 and then they drew. Or maybe not. Maybe they won it.
Well, I remember Viduka scoring 4 for Leeds against Liverpool.
Oh, Viduka was good, eh?
Yeah.
He could hit a ball, couldn't he?
Yeah, he was class, mate. He was class. Hey, next group, Group C. and we'll do the 4 groups, and then we'll have a song because you've got a request tonight, mate, which you hit me with just recently, and I had a little snippet of it earlier just to listen. It sounds really good.
Oh, no, it's good, man. Troy Kingy, he released the album.
Is he a Kiwi, mate?
December last year. Yeah, he's
Kingy. He must
I'm
be.
not sure where he's from. Actually, he's from up north somewhere, possibly. Yeah.
Whangarei?
Possibly. I think he might actually be from Whangarei, I think.
Oh, yeah?
Maybe not. Maybe that's just a big guess on my part, but
sounded pretty appealing anyway. But moving along, Group C, we've got France, Peru. Have we not had Peru yet? No, Peru, Denmark.
That's us. We would have been there.
Yeah, it would have been us, and Australia.
Us. The Peruvians with their lasers shining in our players' eyes. I hope their strikers banned and they just no. I hope they do well.
Oh, I mean, look.
They beat us fair and square. I mean, realistically, I went to the game in Wellington.
Yes, so did I, mate.
And I was sitting there and I was like, we need, I don't know, Hudson, he's a good coach and all that, but what's bloody Woods doing on the bench? I don't know.
What upset me with the way Hudson ran the show was that I felt that he didn't have that sort of defensive midfield player for the All Whites, where we were really lacking just outside our sort of front 3 or 4 sort of thing. He didn't have that player there, and that's just for me. Other people might not agree, and I thought he had a long time to get that player. Yeah, he had a lot of time in, as far as the build-up goes, to find someone suitable for that, and he didn't. And I just felt that he played a couple of players way out of position, and I was disappointed with that. And to be fair, I thought they got spanked by.
I found the whole thing a bit flat.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought, it was just. I was expecting a bit more, and it just didn't really feel like it. It didn't feel like they believed in themselves that they were going to beat Peru.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah. But Australia's in that group now. Can the Australians get any points against Peru, Denmark, and France? Do you think?
Yeah, I reckon the Aussies are. I reckon they're a good side. They got a good coach again. I reckon they could go all right.
Yeah,
I mean they're probably not as good as they have been in the past, but I mean they've got all bases covered. They've got a reasonable squad. They've got a lot of professionals who play abroad. Then a few A-League players filling in the gaps from the better sides. So you wouldn't put it past them upsetting one of those sides and then sneaking a few points, beating the weaker sides.
Plays for Aston Villa, doesn't he? He's centre back with Thierry Henry, isn't he? John Terry.
Yeah, I think is he playing? He's defensive midfield, maybe.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. He's a quality player.
Yeah, Matt Ryan plays in goal for Brighton.
They got some good players. Yeah, definitely the Aussies. I don't think I mean, the Aussies are also, they're competitors. Whatever sport they play, they always they've got. It's like they've got some crazy, inferiority complex, a bit like me, really. And they're just driven. They're driven, mate.
Yeah, they are.
They push themselves so hard, the Aussies. I admire that about them, their will to win.
It's not about competing, is it? It's about winning for them.
Yeah. Oh, well, some people don't like it, but, when they win, they like it.
Yep, I agree. So
it's like Ramos.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Take that. How's your arm? Hey, France. Fantastic, aren't they?
Yeah, well, you look at all the players they've got. You have to say they're a team that you think are in with a shot of winning it if they can get it together.
Yeah.
People have been giving Pogba a lot of crap the last couple of seasons, but the he's a machine, mate. He's an amazing player. No matter how much he's overpriced, he hasn't delivered. No, the games he did play. As players have got to get into a rhythm with any team, and they join a team, and they've got to have the right players around them. They've got to know each other.
100%.
And United haven't had that the last couple of seasons. They've been chopping and changing. And a guy like Pogba, he needs to know what the other guys around him are going to do at all times,
I think he's also
perform.
Yeah, I think he also at United is a player that doesn't just do his job as maybe a defensive sort of midfield player, but he's also an attacking midfield player.
But he can, though. He can be that player.
Yeah, he can.
But with France, he knows the guys.
Yeah, exactly.
He's going to do
and he's got good players that he's settled with in the team structure.
Yeah.
And I don't think they have that at United because Mourinho is still looking for 2 or 3 players around him.
Yeah, he's still trying to fix it.
But I think to his detriment as well, because he's not comfortable with where he's at, he hasn't looked his best, and Mourinho's dropped him at times this season, which is big ask. But I think that, once again, like you mentioned earlier, maybe just as a bit of a motivating factor to get him focused a bit,
Yeah, well, I don't think Mourinho would he's not the type of guy that's going to sell Paul Pogba, I don't think, because he knows how good he is. And he might have his
I don't know.
I don't know, man. I think Mourinho knows how good Pogba is, and he's like, I've got to find the guys to play.
I reckon he'd let him go for Ronaldo, mate.
Oh, God.
You don't reckon? You don't reckon?
I wouldn't want that to happen, no way.
Well, I wouldn't either, but I reckon he would. I reckon he'd let him go for Ronaldo, mate. That's just, you heard it tonight, ladies and gentlemen, on the football. Elia said no, and I said yo. So we'll see.
No, but you look at the rest of it, they got, obviously, is Benzema even in the squad?
And the French team,
he's struggled to get in there recently, isn't he? I don't even know if he's named in there, but I know, they got Mbappe, is that how you say it? And
yeah,
they got a lot of quality. The Varane, they got a lot of players there that, Loris in goal.
Yeah,
they're covered. They're pretty well covered. You got to have. But then again, at the Euro, you thought they would have been. I thought they were going to walk the Euro, to be honest, and then they didn't. And they couldn't get it either. I mean, they should have probably won it if they'd played a little bit better.
Well, France normally they implode, don't they? They normally are their own worst enemies when it comes to big tournaments. They have a lot of unrest. Deschamps, whatever. Remember, he was there when he was coaching or managing the team, and
they had that crazy astrology guy. And,
there were guys.
Was that South Africa? And
then
he just let Zidane take over the team apparently or something. All the older guys.
Yeah.
And I read this big article about it, and they said that Dominic didn't really. He sort of took a slight backward step, and then the older guys just were all like, right, boys, let's do this. And then they made it all the way to the final, and then Zidane had that Materazzi carry on and all over. They didn't win it,
Okay, so you reckon Australia not going to get through that? France and Denmark? What about Denmark? We haven't heard much from them, have we?
Well, they're not a bad side. They're not certainly not what they were when they had Schmeichel and the Laudrup brothers.
They were fantastic, weren't they?
Yeah.
They could have won the World Cup back in those days, mate.
Well, they won the Euro.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they won the Euro when they were a replacement for a team that couldn't go. Remember that?
Yeah,
and then Schmeichel was on the beach and all the boys were drinking tequilas in the sun. And then they got the call up to say, look, you guys are going to the European Cups now. And they went and won it.
Yeah, that was magic.
And Schmeichel was just a freak, wasn't he?
And those Laudrups, mate.
Yeah, Brian and Michael. Yeah. But they had other good players. Jesper Olsen, remember him from Man United?
Yeah, great. Yeah, excellent player.
Anyway, moving along, we'll never get through this. So you reckon France and Denmark, or France, Peru, France, Australia? France is obviously my pick to win that group.
Well, I think Aussie have got a good chance of going through second there, maybe. And
possibly.
But Peru are a good side. I mean, they only just missed out on automatic qualification from one of the hardest qualifying groups in the world in South America.
One thing we did touch on last week. Can you just give us a recap? The striker may not be going. Is that right?
Guerrero, yeah. He's I'm not sure what the word. I don't fancy his chances, to be honest. Like once those.
They found cocaine residue in his lunchbox or something, didn't they? What was that?
Apparently he had a cup of tea and someone had brewed up some coca tea before he had his cup of tea, and
that's the type of dynamite.
He probably should have been checking that, eh?
Yeah, you don't really want to be, having a cup of tea and there's a couple of sticks of cocaine in your drink, mate.
Yeah. It's a bit sloppy. And
tell you what, where's he going? What coffee bar is he going to, mate? Because could be a good promo for the place, isn't it? Come to our place and you'll get Coke and everything on the house. No, I retract that. But I'd like to see him there because you want to see all the best players in the world at the World Cup stage. It
would be good to see Peru with their best possible team. You hate to see a team weakened in any game.
Moving along, mate. Group D, Argentina, Iceland, Croatia and Nigeria. We've got a quick minute to do this. Argentina.
That's like a group of D.
That is, isn't it? Argentina's fantastic. Iceland are very good.
Yeah, well, they did
Nigeria's,
well at the Euro, didn't they?
Yeah.
They've got good players. Yeah, Nigeria's always good. Croatia's got an excellent side as well. Yeah, man, that's a hell of a group.
Who's going to win that group, mate?
Man.
Argentina?
You'd think Argentina, but
you've got it, mate.
They haven't been that consistent over the last few years.
Well, Messi's
they only snuck into the World Cup. Like they'd had a bit of a late run. They were worried they weren't going to make it, and then, but yeah, you got Messi, so I mean, you got to. Is this Messi's Maradona moment?
Yeah, this could be his moment, mate. This could be his moment. Listen, mate, we've only got about 10 minutes to go, even less, about 8 minutes. So I'm going to play that song now. This is Grandma's Rocket Poem by Troy Kingy.
Oh, yeah, nice.
So we'll play that and then we'll finish up with the other 4 groups, mate, and call it a night.
Yeah, cool.
The sun set in the west. But what of the 12 suns? We live on their small exits and also in the plethora of platforms. These black marks avoid us to hold the keys. Up there lives beauty beyond all comprehension, but also destruction. When your time on earth come to an end, only then will you see we are the Creator. We are one in the same. Go forth, exist, my child.
Dear child, I wanna tell you about a trip I had. Way back when I met this guy in outer space. Took me to the corner of the universe. Blew my mind when I saw my creator's face. Wanna put your handset down and turn your attention upwards. You're nothing but an electron child, just waiting for release. Grandma's rocket poem, a cautionary tale, but it's more about a fool life led. She walked into a portal to the cosmos. Grandma's rocket poem, run rings around Saturn, jump ship when you get to the 5th dimension. A real life Jane Jackson. Grandma's rocket poem. Young once, I used to hunt in the woods. Under the precipice is where I found my glowing door. Shot through the threads of space and time. My poor mother's embrace, I'm not gonna feel no more. Hope for an ocean up there in the darkness. When you're searching through the sky, the feeling is heartless, heartless. Grandma's rocket poem, a cautionary tale, but it's more about a fool life led. She walked into a portal to the cosmos, rocket falling. Run rings around Saturn, jump ship when you get to the 5th dimension. A real life Jane Jetson. Grandma's rocket poem.
Good sounds, mate. Good sounds. That is awesome. Hey, Troy Kingy.
Yeah, quality musician.
I've been listening to that a bit more, mate. Yeah. Hey, we've decided that we're going to do the next 4 groups next week because we've run out of time tonight, mate. But before we go, comment on the All Whites game from the other night against Kenya. What do you think?
Yeah, not the best performance, but I mean, in my opinion, he's taken a bit of a younger squad to try and blood a few players, give them a bit of experience. Maybe it could pay dividends in the future. And it wasn't the best. They certainly weren't the best incarnation of the All Whites we've ever seen. But I mean, what do you say about it, really?
Well, I think we mentioned it last week that possibly it could have been an A team rather than the All Whites, are full of Whites, because, as we've just stipulated, there's been a lot of players who weren't involved, a lot of the senior players who are sort of tried and tested and know their place in the squad. Yeah. They never made themselves available.
Yeah.
So it is good to see a lot of players coming through, because it means there's a lot of talent, in New Zealand now, and there's a lot of youngsters that are coming through from these academies, which I really like to hear, mate, because they're technically becoming very good, aren't they? The players, the calibre of players were coming through.
Yeah, they lost to Kenya 2-1. It's not a good result, but oh well. I think they've got a few more games in that tournament, haven't they?
Yeah, I think I think they're playing India this weekend or something, aren't they?
So I think it is. Yeah, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it is.
I'd say it'd be stinking hot over there, wouldn't it, mate?
Well, it'd be warm, wouldn't it? Probably. It's not going to be frosty or anything.
Mate, you can say the good nights, please, and then we're going to finish the show.
Oh, yeah, good night, everyone. Thanks for listening. Have a good week. Have a good week, Mike.
Yeah, cheers, mate. And we'll speak to each other next week, mate.
Yeah, no worries.
Cheers, matey.
Cool, man.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.